Boom, boom. This is TJ, your boy. And in today's video, I am going to be engaging with a lady from KwaThema. And if you don't know KwaThema, it is a neighborhood that is in the far east of Johannesburg. But not only am I speaking to a lady, but I am speaking to a special lady. This lady here, she does financial education. And if we all think that financial education starts in property, no, it doesn't. It's got a bigger picture. And without wasting time, let me jump in so that you can understand how Mashadi can help us all. Boom, boom, welcome, welcome. It is another day where we do meet another M5 Successful Friends. And today I've got a lady, and I am privileged to be hosting Mashadi. And Mashadi, me and her have been rubbing shoulders for a bit, and some of you might know her, but let's dig in to understand who she is. Mashadi, good morning, afternoon, how are you, and everything else. Welcome to the show of M5 Successful Friends.
Good morning, TJ. Thank you for hosting me. I'm glad to be here. I'm blessed, I'm awesome, happy, in good space.
Okay, awesome
it's a very
stuff.
Good day today.
Awesome stuff. Who is Mashadi?
Who is Mashadi? Who is Mashadi is a girl from KwaThema. KwaThema is in Springs, last town. For those who know, yeah. I know you complained about the distance of KwaThema. That's KwaThema. I grew up here in KwaThema, went to school here, my primary up until my matric. Then I moved to, it was Pietersburg then, now Polokwane. I went to study at the University of the North. Then I was there for 4 years, then went to the then Vet Tech. After that, I started working, I think it was in 1998, you know, when the casinos were opening in South Africa. That's why I got my first employment in Emperor's Palace. Then I moved, now I'm in a government department, got into a space of coaching, got into a business and finance coaching space. That's Mashadi.
Nice,
that
nice.
Is me. Yes.
And for people that don't know where KwaThema is, KwaThema for me, I call it the far east. Because I think it's about 115 k's away from my house. And when Mashadi invited me to come through that side, I knew where KwaThema was, but I think I didn't just put it in context in terms of driving. So the day that I was driving there, it just felt like I'm driving to somewhere far away, because obviously it was an hour's trip. But that's a joke between me and Mashadi. Mashadi, I know you for a couple of things. I know you as a financial coach. And I know you to be a very good mobilizer in your community, particularly in KwaThema and things like that. And I almost want us to have those conversations around financial coaching. So for you, you're an employee. You're an employee right now. Yes. And yet you find time to coach other people. But I just want to speak to, before we go on to talk about the coaching part, why do you actually coach others?
You know, TJ, growing up and starting being employed it wasn't a very young age, because I think I was over 25 then. But already before I was employed, I had debts from tertiary. My first year at tertiary, I started accumulating debts from retail accounts. And for me, my first pay that I received, it lasted for about 2 days. I was excited to receive it, and it was short-lived, because after 2 days, I had no money. I didn't even have money for transport. Sure. That became my life, to live from paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck. I thought it was normal then, because from the societies, that we're coming from, the way we are taught, we are never taught financial literacy, we are never taught money management. So we think it is normal to have retail accounts, it is normal to have loans, it is normal to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. So, and then growing up, attending seminars, I met a guy that introduced me to this seminars, personal development seminars. And there was this one where I had to attend. It was I think the mind power. Do you know? I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, I know the mind power, Robin Banks and John Keogh.
Yes, that one. And when I attended that seminar, I saw that I can do anything and I can be anyone that I want to be.
Sure.
Then that changed my whole life. It changed the way I thought. It changed the way I looked at things, the way I saw challenges to turn them into opportunities. Then fast forward, I worked for StepUP Business Solutions. It was a financial literacy company, and I was an administrator, organizing workshops for them, doing teas, invitations, and everything. But in the process, once you start working, you're always attending the classes when they teach, to an extent that I learned that and I lived it. It became my life. It became who I am.
So hold on, Masadi. You are supposed to be the coordinator, the tea girl, someone that is just being sent around. And you actually took the opportunity whilst you were in the midst of those that are being taught, those that are paying for it, and those that are teaching. And I always when I go to events and I see people that are running around, I almost feel like people look down on them, right? Because society, that's what we are. But in the midst of being looked down at in those times, you were actually becoming a sponge and absorbing and learning along the way.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And funny enough, there was this time where the presenter, we had a seminar, but the presenter was not available on that day. He had a funeral to attend. Then that's where my opportunity came. He said, we can't cancel this. We cannot cancel this event. You have to go and do the presentation there. I will coach you through the phone and everything. And I was like, no, I'm going. I am going. You sure you can do this? I said, I can do this. I can do this. And that's it. The rest is history. We're here.
Opportunities come dressed up in different ways. Exactly. I think a lot of people might, given the way you were, they might have not even gone in to be paying attention and doing all those things. But you took the opportunity to learn whilst you were serving others. And when the opportunity came by, you were fully ready.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes,
well done.
I was ready and prepared. Though I was scared, I wouldn't say I wasn't scared, but I was ready to dive in. If I didn't do it that day, I wouldn't have known that I can stand in front of people. I also have that problem of standing in front of people and talking. I was scared of that. But then I met a life coach. In these seminars, I got to meet a life coach who introduced me to Toastmasters. Then I enrolled for Toastmasters. I started attending, getting familiar to talking in front of people, how you present yourself and everything. So that's how I got to develop in that area.
Okay, so let's talk about the finances. I mean, you speak from a personal point where you started off your first job, your income literally lived for 2 days, right? Yes. And look, I am fortunate that when I started working, my money lived for me for almost about 55 days because I was one of those guys that just want to see the money. So I wouldn't buy shoes. I wouldn't buy anything. And it's still a problem that I still have now. My wife is always nudging me. You need to go and buy a t-shirt, whatever. And I say, what's wrong with this one? It's fine. And and I just want to see my money there, right? And so I was the opposite of you, but I didn't know what to do with the money as well.
With the money.
So I was accumulating money, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I just wanted to see it there. So those are two extreme people, right? But you're a financial coach in terms of now bringing the two together so that one can actually see their money work for them, right? And I just want us to talk about when you're taking someone through a financial coach, financial coaching classes and things like that you do. Typically, what's a person who would come to you and would say they need help? Is it a person like me, or who was like me, or is it a person who was like you? What does that look like?
It's a bit of both, TJ.
Right.
However, those who are like you, who would say, I don't have money problems.
Yeah.
Yet they have money, but they don't know what to do with it. They have money sitting in their bank accounts. They don't have savings account. They don't have investments. They just want the positive balance. No investment, their money is sitting in the bank, no interest accumulated, it's just there. And they're happy with it. But then they only realize once they start talking to a coach that, oh, there's investment vehicles. There is where I can put this money and it starts growing and it's working for me. I can now start saving for a bigger project, because there's people who want to see money. They also believe that if I buy something, I want to buy it cash, which is good.
Right.
I'm an advocate of that. That if you want to buy something, if you have money to do it, buy it cash. But there's times where you can channel those funds somewhere where they can grow. So that's one part of people who says, I have my money. They even call it extra money, and I don't believe in extra money. If you have allocated your money, you shouldn't have extra money. There's nothing like that. Because when you do your budget, there's allocations. This is going where this is money for my necessities. This is money for my personal development. This is money for my investments. This is money for savings. This is my play money. This is my giving money. And with all the percentages allocated in the jars, you would know which money goes where. That is number one. So there's no extra.
Wait, extra. So let's go back to that allocation.
Yes.
So obviously you don't know my financial circumstance, and the people that are listening here, you don't know their financial circumstances, and we are all in different spaces of life. And I almost want to put a disclaimer here to say what my next question to Mashadi is not a ruling thumb, but it's a direction. But for some people that are serious about their money, then you need to consult Mashadi, right? So my question, Mashadi, is what is the foundation pockets that one should be having? You know, you just gave us a little bit now, but I almost want us to start talking about it very intentional. You know, so if I'm a man, I am a husband, I've got 2 kids, so use me as a guinea pig, and like, what should I be? If I've got money, I'm getting 10,000 rand every month. So what compartments should I be having to say that my money is working better for me, having to also live an okay life today, without thinking that, we are living for tomorrow, but then I die without, living that life? Because I see a lot of people. I've got a very good friend of mine who says to me, "Teacher, you should have wings, man. Just enjoy life a little bit." But I see that he uses all his monies. But his thing is, tomorrow is never guaranteed. Today is guaranteed. So let's do what we can today. So what are the compartments? Yeah.
Okay, the compartments that you're referring to, I'm using this book. I don't know if you can see.
The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Okay.
Yes. It's my Yes. So the budgeting strategy that we're using is from this book. Your example, you've got an income of 10,000. By income, we're not only talking salary. Maybe you've got some other side things that brings you money. So your total income is 10,000. What we're saying is that for you to be living within your means, 50% of that 10,000 should go to your necessities.
Right. And when you're saying necessities, what do you mean?
Yes, meaning your bond, your electricity, your groceries, your grooming, your child's education and all. That is 50%, meaning you'll be left with the 5,000.
Right.
Then on that 5,000, 10% of each, one will go to your investments, meaning you must invest 10% on month one. Let's say we're starting today. Month one, you start investing with your 10% under investment. We call it the financial freedom chart. And then we've got the savings chart for long term. 10% you invested there. We've got the education chart. It's not education for the school education, but it's the education for attending seminars, education for personal development. If you want to start a business, obviously you must get education for that. Then you will put that money in your education chart. We also have a play chart. These people that say you must loosen up and go out, go play with other kids. Yes, that is allocated for. Your 10%, you will go out, you will have fun with your guys, the guys outing and everything. Then we have 9% of the giving chart. You know, as people, we tend to think that for you to start giving, you need to have money, lots and lots of money. You can give with whatever you have. So keep that 10% to buy school shoes for the kids, jerseys, or blessing someone, these guys that's standing in the corners. One day, instead of giving them maybe 5 rands, when you do your groceries, with 100 rands, buy them 2 cans of fish, bread, and baked beans, and then give it to them. It's not that it's money you don't have. It's money that you've already allocated for giving. So by the end of the day, all the 10,000 that you have earned is allocated in these 6 jars. That's how it works. So now, most of the people, they're saying, you say 50% is for necessities. My necessities are sitting at 100% or 110. I don't even have money enough for me to start with the necessities. When you look at their finances, there's lots and lots of things that are duplicating. With us in the Black community, most of the people, they have these funeral covers. You find they have 4 or 5 funeral covers with one person duplicating in those all. And some of them, when you start asking them, why do we have so many funeral policies? And they say, no, because I'll need the money, but it's not like it's your own responsibility to pay that person. Yours was to contribute towards the funeral. So why have so many? And you advise them to cancel some. Some they agree with you, some they would say, no, I have invested a lot of money here. I'm not going to cancel this until it pays out, because you are just waiting for someone to die for you to make money, which is a strategy. I don't believe in that. So we look at those.
So Mashade, it almost sounds like the perception that is out there is a funeral policy is it's almost been seen as an investment.
Yes, because some of the people, when they get that payout, maybe they'll start doing the project that they couldn't afford. And also the funeral policies, the life covers. I know, sorry about that. I know we have life covers. You find people with have more than 2, 3 life covers, because they are saying that they want to leave something for their kids when they pass on. But if you leave your kids with that money without financial literacy, they will blow it. So the efforts, your intentions that you want them to have an easy life, a happy life, might not be the case, because they will take that money, they don't know what to do with it, they're overwhelmed, they start buying cars, they start having girlfriends, boyfriends, going out, doing things that they think it's good life, yet it's destroying them.
When you're talking about financial literacy, Mashadi,
Yes.
I think it's some of these terminologies, I always say, I've said this to a friend of mine, and I said, I was in college at one point and I'd never been exposed to a pizza before. And the teacher was giving an example, and then they said their instruction was cut it into a pizza shape. And I understood cutting, but I didn't understand pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So the instruction didn't hit home. I was looking everywhere now. So where's this pizza thing now? And I almost want to marry that with the conversation of, we're talking about financial literacy. And I don't think we understand what financial literacy is. And I want to be open, I don't think that in general, people actually understand financial literacy, black, white, Indian, colored. I don't think people do. And I say that confidently. I think sometimes when we are sitting in one race, we see others and with those that are doing very well, and we think those races, they are doing very well because they understand it. But in all the classes that I've personally attended, where it's mixed race and things like that, I see certain races that, like in a class of 50, I would see some races that are maybe 30 to 40 people in that class. So you can see that they are hungry, these guys, they want to learn. But it's also telling you that, we also on the same page, because they don't know, that's why they're in this class. So I really think that financial literacy is it's a problem amongst people. And you as a financial coach, I want us to talk about it in very simple terms, grandmother language. When you're talking about financial literacy, what does that actually mean? And how do I know that I'm financially illiterate? Because there are some accountants, I speak to people all the time. There are some accountants and they would call me and then they will ask me, TJ, my return of money is going to be X. And I'm like, yeah. And then they say, I think I'm going to leave it at the bank. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But you can safely see that the return that they're getting on project A is higher than at the bank. So why are they making that decision? And you can see it's the illiterate part of it, right? And that's what I want us to speak to, Mashadi. What is financial literacy in grandmother's language?
Okay, let me start here. When I was working at the casino, I thought that a person who has a credit card has money. In my mind, when I see you with a credit card, I thought you were rich. I don't want to lie to you. And at some stage, I realized I was sitting with these young ladies and they were talking about payday being far and they are going to withdraw money from their credit cards. And then I started asking them, why withdraw money? They explained, and I was like, why would you do that? No, but because we don't have enough money. That is
right.
one. So now that showed that what I was talking about, payday to payday, from debt to debt with your income. And with financial literacy, what we do, because we also do workshop in schools with the high school kids. Most of them, when you start talking money, they will say, but Sis Mashadi, I have money. And I'll say, you do have money. How much do they give you as pocket money at home? They will say 10, 20, they range from that 10, 20, 30, 50 some. And then I'll say, what do you do with that 10 rands they give you at home? No, I buy food. Okay. From home, do you have bread and butter? Why don't you carry your bread and butter and save this 10 rands? For 5 days, it's 50 rands. For 20 days, it's 200 rands. Okay. Right. And then does it mean I'll have 200 by the end of the month, yes, you'll have 200 if you're not using it. Whatever that you want to do with the 200, start splitting it now to the 10%, 10%, 10%. That's where we start them. Then sometimes we would say, whoever has saved more, we start them with having the habit of saving, the habit of investing. Whoever would save more, we will top up that. And gradually they're getting there. Some are cheating because they will take money from their parents and they will say they've saved. But financial literacy, it's how you manage your money, how you look at money. What is a relationship with money? Does money excite you? Does money depress you? When you see money, what do you see? Does it mean money to you going out, or money that to you when you have 200, it's for me, I will make 400? Because we also encourage them with those entrepreneurs day that, okay, you have 100 rands. How much can you make out of this 100 rands? Right. Then they start having ideas of, no, I'll sell this at a very young age. And by the time they have their profits, they know that with my profit, I'm going to do this. So financial literacy is money management. It's knowing how your bank works. It's knowing how the credit card works. It's knowing the retail accounts. When you buy clothes and they say interest, what does the interest mean? How long am I going to pay for this thing? How much is the interest that I'm paying? And it grows up until you start buying your first property. You start investing in stock markets. You start joining stokvels. You do something that you exactly know. What is it you're doing? Why? So financial literacy, it covers all those things. And mostly the way you think, your mindset around money, your money blueprints. When people talk about money from when you were growing up, where your parents telling you that, why do you think you'll have money? Because who do you see here in our family that has a car or a bicycle? We'll never get there. That is something that some of us grew up being told. You thought money was for specific people, not us. And once you get money, because you were told that money for specific people, then you start using like, you want to finish it. You know, when you don't have a money thermostat, once you are used to having 5,000 and you have 7,000, your mind tells you, let's get rid of the 2,000. We are not used to the 2,000. We don't want the 2,000. You start buying things that you don't need because you want to go back to where your mind says, okay, we are comfortable. There are those who are comfortable with having 0, 0, or even a minus, because that's where they set their thermostat at. So that's the things we talk about when we're doing workshop. That's have a money blueprint. Know yourself. Maybe you as teacher, when you are broke, you are having 10,000 in your bank account. Me as Mashadi, when I'm broke, I'm having 1 million in my bank account. Right. So it depends on your money blueprint.
You know, Mashadi, you remind me of a number of people that I've seen in my life. Someone else that I know. So we all are in South Africa. Some of us were watching this from South Africa. We've got the Road Accident Fund. And I think the Road Accident Fund has dispersed millions and millions of money to people who have been either hit by a car, it's a hit and run, whatever the case is. Suddenly they get a 2 million rand, 5 million rand. And if you really look at those guys, 2 years later, there's nothing to show for it. That's number one. There's that TV show, I think it's called I Blew It All or something like that.
Yes.
Right? And the guys are talking about winning lotto, right? But these are people that are elite in our societies that stumble upon huge sums of money. But I don't want to think that they are elite. There's another group of people as well that we were talking about, kids who inherit large sums of money because of family policies. And this could be even adults that are now married because their father, who was in their 80s, 90s, is late. And I almost want to say, Mashadi, it's almost seen as okay to be doing that, because now I can be on TV on Blew It because I blew it. And the reality of it, which is where my heart pains the most, is you could have built something that has generational difference or make a difference for your name, for your family, for yourself. And I don't know, it's pretty endless what you can do when you start building. And that's where my heart goes out to. But I don't want to leave me and you, who is going to work, getting paid 10,000 Rand, on what is the starting point. And thanks very much for sharing your starting point in the book, that one can literally go and read and start applying those principles. But let's talk about the person who's got the money. So now, Mashadi, I've got 1,000 Rand that I want to save in my saving jar. Where do I start from? Because I think this is a bigger problem within our society, and myself included at a point. I've got the money, but where do I start from? So what are the steps? And I have seen that you've got many, you've got stockpiles that run, you do property investments, but where do you start from with your 1,000 Rand as an example? I earn 10,000 Rand and my 1,000 is in my jar of investments. What are the baby steps of just starting to invest?
Okay, baby steps for it also depend on your risk appetite. I think you know my risk appetite, that Mina, when something makes sense to me, I go all in.
Right. What do you mean by risk? What do you mean by risk appetite as well? Because I think that's another foreign word for some of us.
There's people who always think by investing, there won't be anything that goes wrong.
Right.
So your investment, ideally, it's supposed to. And we have seen big companies losing investments. People have invested money, but something happens and all that money was lost. So
African Bank was about to go down, the other banks bailed them out.
You see, and people have invested in that. It's staying off. So anything can happen. So by risk appetite, it's like saying, I've got 20,000. I am, my idea is it should grow in 5 years, 3 years, or whatever number of years. If it happens, I lose it, then it's done. There's nothing I can do. It's beyond my control. Because
so you are okay. Hold on, Mashadi. So you are saying when you go and invest in something, it's money that you're okay to lose. You understand the risk that has come with it, but at a worst case scenario, you are okay with it being lost.
Exactly.
And that's what risk
diversify your investment portfolio. You should diversify your investment portfolio. Don't take all your money because you see that the interest is good here and you put all your money there. In case you lose it, then you're dead.
Right.
So starting with savings. If, like I'm saying, you don't want to lose your money, just use banks. Save your money, use the 31 days notice things and all the other products that the banks are offering. But then if you want interest that is more than what the banks are offering, then look at other saving vehicles or other investment vehicles. Like myself, what I do with the jars that we're talking about, I'm using the property stokvel as a saving vehicle.
Right.
Which is money that I know that I can give notice and they will give me back what I've invested.
How does that stokvel work?
How it works, there's once off. You can deposit money once off. There's a certain percentage that they offer. You check. One other thing that we must do is due diligence. before investing in participating in anything. Check the credibility of the company that you're investing money to. Know those people, know who they are, where they live. Don't just invest your money. The next thing you want, those people, they are gone, their offices are closed, you don't know anything, you don't see them anymore on social media. So going back to how the stokvels work, you deposit your money once off or on a monthly basis. Then you have an opportunity to reinvest, accumulate your money, or you have opportunity to withdraw or just leave it like that. So it's up to you, how long do you want to invest your money? But the first part is that for 1 year, your money is locked for a period of 1 year with you receiving those monthly returns, where you have an option of withdrawing them or reinvesting them. Until I have a project that I want to do, then I would know that, no, I will go to the property stokvel to withdraw those funds. And investment in property, I was talking about savings, my savings jar, which is not only used in stokvels, there's other saving vehicles, because sometimes I might not want to use the money that's in the stokvel, but I want to use the money that's sitting in the bank on my 32 days notice, then I will do that. For investment purposes with property, most of my pie, the chunk of it is in property, because I buy properties for rental purposes. I also invest like money, take money, invest it in M5 property edits. And I will decide whether I want it done monthly to get the money, monthly payouts, or I can lock it up for 2, 3, 5 years, depending on when will I need that money? Why am I investing this money? You need to know why you're investing. Your why matters, because you don't want to invest money for 5 years and second time to withdraw your money and they start charging you penalties and everything because you got into a deal. Because sometimes we do make financial decisions, mistakes. You think this is going to work and the next thing is not working, then you run your money. So the startup points for those who are with their adrenalines, that they know that no, let them stick to the banks and start educating themselves, start attending seminars, start attending your things that you post every day. Then as they learn, they will know where to invest, when to invest into this product and that and all of that. And also to emphasize that it is not a quick reach where you would invest today and tomorrow you have 50%, 100%. With most of those ones, I have clients where they've been complaining about they invested in this scheme because they have promised them 50% in 1 month. You should start asking yourself, where are they getting the 50%? Where does that money come from? Then you take your decision on that, but don't come complaining when your money is gone, because when you wanted easy things to come. You must be patient with investment. Be easy on yourself.
Mashadi, I've been, and I mean, thanks for explaining that whole thing out around the stokvels, how you guys stokvels work. But I also want to speak to something else. 2 things that I want to touch on around there. That I think a lot of people, or what I've seen is people think that stokvels are only for Black people. And with my knowledge and what I've seen, it's not true. The pulling of money together for a bigger cause is known in different names, in different races, or even in different countries also. And this has been around forever. I don't know what's your experience. You are the money coach here.
My experience is that in the Black community, when we talked about stokvels, we talked about saving money for groceries. We talked about saving money where on a monthly basis. It's just that now, some they call it umshayelo, some they call it istokvel. There's 12 of us, we give you 1,000 every month, and then when my 10 comes, I will get 11,000. They call it a stokvel. It's working for them. What I don't like about that is that there's no interest, because the money that you put in is the money that you're going to get out. But now, because things are changing, we're starting to learn. We are moving away from having grocery stokvels or alcohol stokvels. We're starting to have school fees stokvels, where we know that we're putting away money. Come January, we are paying school fees for the whole year for our children. We're going into property stokvels. There's farming stokvels. There's so many stokvels that people are involved in. You just have to have one vision and one goal. You decide. It doesn't have to be something that you are not even, you don't know about it. Anything that comes, as guys, we're sitting and we're talking and we say, why don't you have a vehicle stokvels? It can be done. It's just that you plan around that thing, you have that vision and you start doing it. You call it a stokvel. And we forget about the groceries.
Mashadi, 3 years ago, not three, about two and a half years ago, I got invited to a stokvel with a very senior person at the bank. When I mean senior, I'm talking about look within the realm of the CEO's office, right? And this is a very big bank in South Africa. And he approached me and he says, TJ, I'd like us to do a stokvel. And I said, what is the stokvel about? And he says to me, no, the stokvel is we will going to do, there's 10 of us and we'll pass 100,000 each to one person. And I said, okay. So in my mind, I was waiting for the next step, right? And he says, so which means that basically every year you are going, each individual will have about R1 million. And I said, okay, yes. So who's the other 10? I mean, the other 9, because there's me and there's you. So who's the other 8? And he gave me names, and those names were highly profiled people in the banks, very senior executives. And it made me to wonder. And I said, hold on. These are people, senior executives, people that we are scared of in our societies, to know that Mr. Mang is a deputy CEO at the Blue Bank. And we are doing this round where there is no interest, where it didn't excite me. But I realized one thing. I realized that they've been trained to be bankers, to be employees, but they've never been trained to look outside the system and to make the system work for themselves or even for their own communities, which is why we haven't seen a lot of our own local banks emerging. If you go to other African countries, you would see that the traditional banks, your standard banks, your pre-colonial banks, those ones have kind of like chiseled out, and you now have local banks that are coming up with local solutions that are ingrown. If you look into the African countries, there's so many banks that you go to Malawi and you ask, is there a standard bank? There is no standard bank. There's I'm not so sure whether in Malawi there's a standard bank actually, but I'm just giving an example here. And there could be an NBA bank, an ABC bank, and that bank is not even known anywhere else in Africa. But it was local people that came up with that bank with their own solutions in there, and they became a bank because they understood that. And this is another thing, Mashadi, where it kind of like pains me a little bit, especially when we're talking about money, that we have actually raised a community of people. We're sending our kids to school. They're getting the good jobs and things like that. But from a financial perspective, I think slavery is still there. And this is not even slavery around, you know, white people and black people and things like that, but this is system slavery of what you should know is what you should be doing only, and don't think about anything else. And if I look at these executives that I'm talking about, Mashadi, I know they are highly educated people that can easily step out of their roles of those banks. And today they can set up a bank that is called the People's Bank or whatever it's called, right? But we're not thinking that far. And my biggest problem is, it's not even about thinking that far, Mashadi, when we can't solve what we are talking about today. Because that's the grain problem.
Another challenge that we have, it's this challenge of being scared of starting things from scratch. We want to join something when it's moving. When we don't want to take responsibility. You like, what if I fail? What if I do this? And we are skeptical. Someone will start something and they approach you first, but you'll say, no, what if it doesn't work? What if something goes wrong? 2-3 years down the line, you were supposed to be a 50% shareholder. You're now joining them and they're offering you a 10% stake in that. Whereas if you started, you took care of your fears then. So it goes with that. Those bank executives, those people have resources. They know how the banking system works. They know everything about the banks. Why would they want to be involved in something that doesn't, I wouldn't even call it saving what they're doing. Because what if one of them, we give you today our 100,000, 2 weeks down the line, you pass on, sorry, God forbid, who's going to refund us our money that we gave you? Because I doubt if with those things, there's a document that will say, if you die, this is how we're going to recover our money from you. That is one. That's one thing that makes me not to advocate for those. I give you money, you give me next month, you give me money. But in communities like you were saying, you can see that in the communities. Back then, when we were growing up, we used to have tuck shops owned by people in the township. And as we grow up, we had ShopRite entering the township, Pick and Pays, and all those things. If we took control, if we were financially literate then, if we knew that, no, these things are not meant for a particular race, these things can be done. We could have had our own ShopRite, our own Pick and Pay that is owned by the community. Everything that the schools, we are complaining about the government schools, we are complaining about other races building their kids' schools, but what are we doing with our money? We do have money. Money is here, but it's what we do with our money. Where are we channeling our funds? Are we satisfied with our kids walking around the parks, drinking and having all those funny things? Does it make us happy? Or we can build recreational centers, start bringing those kids to for recreation, and they start doing different kinds of things. We are building the community here, but now it's just that it's like everyone for themselves. Yet we can change our communities. For me, studying raising financial literacy awareness, some people were like, what is it you're talking about? We don't have money. Why do you want to tell us about money? That mentality.
Yeah.
You want me to pay for you to tell me about money when I don't have money? And you were like, hey, before things can change, we need to deal with the mindset. We need to deal with the programming of the mind. We need to deal with everything that we were taught from an early age when it comes to money matters. Until we reach that stage, TJ, where our mindset is programmed in a way where everything that we see, it's an opportunity, where we eliminate our believing limits, because some things that we do, it's like, it's not that I can do it, but I was told at the young stage, early age, that I am stupid, I can't do this, I can't do that. So once we start dealing with the money and winning this battle in our minds, we will be okay.
Mashadi, you've been a money coach for a while, financial coach for a while now. What are some of the things that you've already started seeing people manifesting and their lives being changed by some of the principles that you work with and people in your communities and abroad, your clients? What are some of the wins that you start seeing?
One, the easiest one is for them to get rid of bad debt.
Right.
That's the one. I think that is the easy one. When people, they're saying, okay, where do I start? We'll say, okay, get rid of this debt. Because not all debt is bad. There are good debts where you would want to, okay, I'm taking this money, I'm going to buy or invest it here for profit or something. And the major ones is people starting their own businesses with the money that they have. People creating multiple streams of income, not depending on the salary only. People knowing that there's other investment vehicles. Move out from the banks, look somewhere. People will start now attending seminars. They start learning, because with the coaching programs, it's not us saying you, no, get out of that, start creating wealth. You must do your part. Get educated, get information, get everything. So we've seen people starting businesses, getting out of debt, and it's not coaching, it's not only for you. If I coach you, you coach your family, you coach your children. They will grow up with that thing of knowing that, no, but at home, this is how we used to do things. They will teach their children. It's generational. So people, they look at it as, no, why would I want to pay this amount of money? What is it going to do for me in the future? Right. Forgetting that it's generational. We can't take knowledge away from you. Once we give it to you, it's yours forever.
Yeah. Mashadi, my last question to you was going to ask you, say, what does success look like for you in your job that you have given yourself, of being a financial coach? But my heart is overwhelmed with a warm feeling and a fuzzy feeling of when you start seeing what the things that you've just spoken about now. To me, that's a great success already. But I don't want to steal it from you. What does success look like for you when you're working with these clients of yours, and you as an individual now, you've journeyed this journey of knowing that you can't live, or you shouldn't be living from paycheck to paycheck. You can live beyond that, and you have sorted it out for yourself, and now you're sorting it out for other people. And what does success look like for you?
Success to me, it's waking up, getting a message that says, Mashadi, I sold my Evoque for a Toyota Corolla. Because I could see that I'm not affording it. And it's like, wow, you did that. Yes, I did. And I'm saving, I've got this much now where I can put, I don't want to lie to you, TJ, that makes my heart melt. When someone has taken that decision of downgrading their lifestyles to be able to live within their means, that's success for me. Success is you, TJ, sending me a picture of saying, I bought this property with the money that I didn't have before I met you. I bought this. That's success for me. Success is, for me, it's being fulfilled by seeing you being successful. that makes me sleep at night. Once I see that, okay, at the beginning it was tough. It's not easy. Coaching is not easy. People, there are those people who are not coachable. It doesn't matter what you say to them. And once you see that, hey, they want this person was like this, I didn't think. There are dropouts. There are those who decide, no, I'm not going to drop my lifestyle. I'm just going to find something else to do. Because some is not like, you should drop your lifestyle. Increase your income. If you don't want to lose your lifestyle, then increase your income so that you can have this life that you want. So success to me is seeing my clients learning and practicing whatever that we are doing. And at the end of the day, you see them sending you their statements, 0. I've paid this off. It's small things. Even if you're owing 5,000 and you send me a statement that says, next month I'm finishing 295, to me, it's like, thank you. You see, you don't have to buy a farm. No, those small things, they make me happy.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Mashadi, you've been amazing to us. I truly enjoyed my conversations with you today. And I think this is not an M5 property addicts conversation. It's a national duty conversation. And it's a conversation that we need to be having all the time. These are bright conversations that we should be having all the time. These are conversations that we need to be forging for the next generation, for our generation. I don't think that when we're talking about the next generation, when we haven't even sorted it out for our own generation, it makes sense. So I think this topic here is a game changer of note, that if we are to get it, even on the 100% that you teach, if we're to get 10%, I think it takes us into a different space altogether. So thank you very much for availing us and telling us what you do and how it impacts communities. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mashadi. She is a financial coach, and I have utilized the services of a financial coach before in the past, at a time when I was really down in the out, and they helped me to maneuver where I was, and I want to say I was in a dark space in terms of money. And I've learned to be okay with understanding that there is good debt, and I'm okay with debt, but it's for as long as it is good debt. If I tell you guys how much in debt I am, some of you will drop down to debt, but it's good debt. I'm okay with that, right? And also over and above that, there are things that Mashadi can't help you with. There are things that any financial coach can't help you with. It's about you. She will tell you the direction. You need to take the first step into the direction where she's advising you to. And you follow these principles. They've been around for a while. You will be a success in getting out of a dark time you are in, if it is a dark space. Because I was there before, I know how it feels. But reach out for help, right? That's number one. And then number two, if you just don't know what you don't know, it's also a dark space. Because what you don't know can give you money, or can give you money to make more money for you. So for that reason, if you don't know, you are in a dark space. Again, you want to be consulting with people like Mashadi. Her contact details are in the comments below, so you can check all of her comments in the comments, and you can reach out directly to her, and you can start your journey to be successful. Mashadi, any closing comments from your side?
Thank you for having me, TJ. Closing comments is like, anyone can be anything. People must just stop being scared, start act. You know, there's this thing of saying knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is power. Apply whatever knowledge you gather and soldier on. Don't be scared. If you drown, there'll be rescuers.
If we were a church, I would have been preaching. Preach. You are very right. Thank you, Mashadi. Thanks a lot, and continue forging on the good cause that you're doing.
Thank you very much, TJ.
Cheers. Stay well. Bye-bye.
Bye.